Energising Leadership is a book that takes a fresh look at leadership and doesn't ask the very common question of what sort of people make good leaders. Rather, it asks a couple of critical questions. What is leadership and what is the work that leaders do?
This book is suggesting that the work of leadership is about mobilising and focusing the energies that human beings bring every day to the work that they do, whether it's in groups or organisations or in community settings. And it's about helping them to connect up their energy to the energies that other people bring. So we don't do things generally on our own in those settings. We're there to connect up our energies with the energies that other people make available. So the work of leadership is to help make it as easy as possible for people to commit their energy and to link it with the energy of other people. And it's also about helping people to sustain their energy when things become difficult, because they inevitably do. The things that we care about or that we want to put right in the world or that we want to accomplish will nearly always take us into territory that we hadn't anticipated at some point. And that will be hard, it will be challenging. So the work of leadership is to make it as easy as possible for people having committed and brought their energy in the first place to sustain it and replenish it when the going gets rough.
So talk to me about energy. What's that idea all about?
Well, human energy turns up in a lot of very different forms, and it really is the power behind everything that we think or do or say. So very basic terms, we all bring physical energy, otherwise we're not alive. So part of the energy that's available is simply the energy that comes from our physical bodies. But of course energy comes from other places for human beings. It comes from our brains, from the pleasure we take in making sense of things, the work that we do to use our intellect. That's a form of very powerful energy. We also have access to the emotional energy that we bring, which takes many different forms. Both positive energies and not so positive energies come from our emotional selves. We bring energy from our spiritual selves, from the things that we believe are important to us as principles to live by or values that drive what we do. And we also bring the energies that come from our imagination, from our creative selves. So our bodies and our brains and our hearts and our imagination and our souls, these are all sources of important energy. Energy, of course, is takes many different forms. It can be a hard thing to pin down. It can be very fragile. It can be very fleeting. It can be very changeable. And of course, it's not just one kind of energy that turns up. It's many different kinds of energies that turn up and are present in a place of work or in a group or in a community. So energy abounds in the forms that it appears in. And it is very fundamental to human life. Unless you happen to live in a very commodious and comfortable cave somewhere with your food supply guaranteed and no need to deal with friends or relations on a daily basis, unless you're in that kind of situation, you'll almost certainly be immersed in the business of trying to influence human energy. You'll either be trying to persuade other people or influence them to use their energies in ways that make sense to you, or they'll be doing the same to you. They'll be trying to persuade you, one way or another, to use your energies in ways that make sense to them. So the business of trying to influence human energy is very fundamental to the way we live our lives, inevitably.
But from reading your book, I get the sense that professional leaders operate in quite a different way.
Over a lifetime, a single human being can influence the energies of many other people without even knowing it or noticing. And that is the difference to me between professional leadership work and being an amateur. An amateur's got no clue as to how they're impacting on the energy of others, but for a professional, it's the central question.